104 BM1 BM2 side screen 101, gentlemen. This is the definitive lesson. We get asked about this all the time, and took us many years to figure this out, but we've got a very good original example of the very first BM1, so early BM1 side screens. It had the plexiglass. These are every inch of this is original. It's the red Everflex aluminum frame. There's a rubber seal. That's quite complex, actually. It's probably the most complex out of them. I will show you all three, and then we'll look at them in detail. I think it's probably the best way. So there you go. That's the first version. Now at Heritage, all we are concerned with is a soft material. This pattern here and the piece of vinyl goes around there. That's all we do with the side screens. We don't get into any of this other stuff. This is restoration consideration and not upholstery. So we stick to the soft upholstery stuff. We don't fit any of the hardware onto these. We don't attach them to frames. We don't do anything other than sew them. So that's the first one, BM1. Then we have the later BM1, which we call the pillar box. This one's an original. It's been colored dyed at one time. Frame's missing, of course, but the idea was that you stick your hand through that flap. Good luck, gentlemen. I wouldn't, would you? Getting out's one thing, getting it back in when you got to grab that wheel at speed might be a little tricky. So so that's the idea with this one. We call this the post box style. And then finally the BN2, the last version. The simplest of all of them has a bar in here, as does this one. I think the bar for this one is sewn into a pocket right in the middle here. The bar, steel bar. Now we supply and install the steel bars, and you can see our version here. This is the latest style, just like we're looking at. When the sewers here at Heritage sew side screens and so on, they do this little trick. We cut almost all the way through, except for the last quarter of an inch in a couple of spots. 1, 2, 3. It holds this in position, stops the window scratching. That's the back cover for it. I wanted to just kind of show you that it was all plastic, the same as the other. This is a very high quality plastic, much better than the factory original stuff. This modern plastic, Regalite, is the best money can buy, and it'll last 10, 15 times longer than this. We supply the 10X fastener with this side screen kit, and of course the steel bar is thrown in. But now I just want to show you quickly some details. I guess the main detail I want to show you, and I've demonstrated this time and time again to non-believers, we sew and manufacture at a much higher standard than the factory ever achieved. You can see our stitching here is absolutely perfect. We have the advantage of the computer cutter machine that chalks these lines on so the sew can hit them. In stark contrast, let's look at the factory here. Let's look at this line here. There's about 5/8. Then we got 3/4 up here. It's actually, this one isn't as bad as they can be. Then we kind of got the stitch going off there. Don't know what that is. This one is terrible. I mean, look at it. It is all over the place. Again, these were mass produced. The girls typically at the factory were just knocking these together. You can see. And this one I remember seeing something quite, different. Look at that. That's supposed to be straight. That's different stitch length. Just small details. I guess only maybe us in the trade will notice this, but it is true. There you go. Off course again. And again, it's difficult to do this, showing this around the steel frame. So, but there we go. There's your 101 on 104 side screens. I hope you enjoyed it. Austin Healey 104 side screens. One of 3 variations. These are ones I showed in the earlier video. They're now complete in beautiful sun-fast cloth. You need some brushing at the shipping department, but for the most part, brand new fiberboard on the inside here. This is looking at the outside, beautifully top stitched. Now the frames of course have to be fitted. We don't get involved in fitting the frames or the plexiglass or any of that. We just sew them, and you can see how beautifully they turned out. A pair of them of course. And this is the plexiglass style that again you can see it in the video that we produced. A great addition to any car, and available from us here at Heritage. Okay, Austin Healey 104 customers and potential customers, here we go. This is our side screens for the later model 104. You can see that the girls, they cut this back, but they don't quite finish cutting here to allow the lens, the glass, to be protected. This is how we ship it. The stitching is absolutely perfect. It's a trademark of our Heritage kits, and frankly, truly better than anything the factory ever produced. They raced through this stuff. The girls had very little time. It was production, and it was go, 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 and wasn't always as nice as this, that's for sure. Inside here we have a steel bar that's setting here. The strap is original. There's the point for the fixing. And again, this side, much like the other, this side the plastic has been cut back, and you can see again the top stitch and the way everything's folded back. Nice attention to detail. And that's how our side screens for the later 104s are presented. Small works of art, that's for sure. And we'll look at some of the earlier style side screens quite soon. Okay, Austin Healey 104 early style side screens in English Everflex. In this case, nice green, original green, with the grey backing. As you can see, we leave the window in position so it doesn't damage the plastic. It's mostly cut, but not all the way. The customer can just finish that off himself. That protects the Regalite plastic underneath. We use the very best quality plastic, Regalite, best available. You can see the precise stitching. Frankly, better than the factory. They rushed these jobs. They were production workers and could never achieve the same standards that we achieve here at Heritage with our reproduction stuff. This has a steel bar that's actually in this portion here where the rivet goes. So behind here is a steel bar, and then of course the Tenex snap is installed and ready for the hardware. This is how we supply them, so we do the sewing work, and the hardware, the frames, they're put onto the frames by the customer. As you can see, they're a great addition to any restoration, and yeah, there we go.